All right, week one is here. It is time to put up or shut up. All the hype, all the drama going into the off season. It's time to see what the Jags are made of and time to see what a lot of these teams in the NFL are made of. I'm stoked. I'm super excited. It's been a long off season. A lot going on for the Jags, obviously. It's time to see what they're going to do this year. So let's cue that intro and get started. All right, welcome to Jags Japan. This is actually my first ever NFL podcast preview that I've been talking about for a while. I do plan on doing about 2 football videos a week, one where I preview the week ahead, and then after the games on Sunday, I will do a quick reaction video about the Jags game, and then the following preview video, I'll talk more about the games and go more in depth. But this week, it's week 1. Jags facing the Panthers in week 1, and I'll go through a bunch of the other games really quickly too, but I first want to take a deep dive into the Jags and Panthers. I did do a season preview video earlier, a few weeks ago, or about a week ago, and nothing's really changed on my thoughts since then, but this week I just wanted to take a more deeper dive into this game and talk about the rest of the NFL a little bit, and from there on I'll go week by week giving my thoughts on the state of the team and how they're doing. It's excitement at its peak. Everyone is 0-0. Everybody thinks they can win the Super Bowl. In my season preview video, I did go through game by game what I thought might happen throughout the year with some also key stats, key player stats, breakout players, and kind of like my Super Bowl predictions. Just a quick recap on that. I do have the Jags going 8-9 this year. I just try to keep my expectations a little low as a beaten down Jags fan. The theme of this year is just like, I'll believe it when I see it. What is the Jags' identity going to be? What is Liam Cohen going to bring to this team? Is Trevor going to progress? I do expect him to. I do expect a lot of things to be better this year. Last year was just terrible. It's probably the worst year I think I've ever seen as a Jags fan. But so I'm expecting a lot more this year, definitely. But the main focus today, like I said, I'm going to go through a Jags-Panthers deep dive, and then I'll give you predictions on every game this week. Let's just start off with setting the stage with this contest and giving some context on what's been going on with both teams. So the Jags obviously went 4-13 last year, and the Panthers actually went 5-12 last year. So in my opinion, both of these teams are actually in pretty similar boats as far as they both had a disappointing year last year, and they're both looking to take a major step up this year. The Panthers is a little different since this is the year 2 of Canales and year 3 of Bryce Young. So trying to see if they can actually step up. Can Bryce Young actually be like a franchise quarterback? He had a pretty good last 4 games the year before, but is that enough to crown him as a franchise quarterback? Obviously, since we've seen with Trevor, it's not, since Trevor had that 2022 big year where the last 8 games of the year, he played great, led to the playoffs, had that big playoff win, and even going in 2023 had a really good start, but obviously everything kind of fell apart, and since then people have been kind of questioning if Trevor Lawrence is really the guy. Bryce Young has obviously also had a very up and down, mostly down until last year. He did get benched and then came back and played a good rest of the last 4 games. So for context for both quarterbacks, this game I think is centered around both quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, is this going to be his redemption year? And then Bryce Young, is he actually going to step up and kind of be the guy that people thought he was coming out? Obviously, coaching changes. Liam Cohen is going to bring a lot to this team, as we know, with a new system and a lot of new players on both sides of the ball. And I think, both teams are in pretty similar places and both expect to win. Panthers fans definitely think they're going to win this game. Jags fans definitely think they're going to win this game. I think that, to me, this is kind of a 50-50 toss-up game. I think that, like I said, because both teams are in similar spots, they both kind of need a hot start to kind of see some development, especially with the Jags and their schedule. This is kind of like the only really winnable game, for the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. It gets pretty rough after this. So the Jags need to win, and they expect to. The Panthers need to win, and they expect to. So that's why I think that this could really go either way. But let's first go off on the Jaguars outlook. As far as injuries, looking just right now, today is Wednesday. I'm filming this Wednesday morning. We haven't got a full injury report, but from what I can tell, it just looks like kind of like what we've been seeing all camp. Tyson Campbell, Eric Armstead are both listed as questionable. I do expect them to play. I think they've been being held out almost all of training camp just for precaution, but I think they will play. So Jaguars are pretty good on the injury front. Obviously, it's kind of sad seeing Caleb Bransall go to the IR so quickly, but what can you do about that? Monteric Brown is also listed as questionable. I thought he might not play this week, but that would be cool if we have him back. There's more depth in the secondary. Okay, moving on to Carolina injury front. Ted McMillan's questionable. I mean, I think he's definitely going to play. I did see that Ikem Ekwonu is listed as questionable. He might not suit up. That would be a huge blow for them, losing their left tackle. But overall, I think they're decently healthy too. They did just trade away Adam Thielen last week, and their Jalen Coker just went on IR, which is a huge blow for them. So that's huge for the Jags, as far as that's two weapons that probably would have burned us in this game that are going to be out. So now it's really the McMillan and Xavier Legette show this week. Moving back on the Jaguars side, looking at just like Jaguars offense versus the Panthers defense. Obviously, when it comes to the Jags, I think the strength of their team is the weapons, especially on the outside. The weapons on the outside and our running back depth. I think I would put them up against a lot of weapons in the league, a lot of teams in the league. I think I'm curious to see what Travis Hunter's role is going to be on offense, if he's going to play a lot on the offensive side of the ball rather than the defensive side of the ball. That's what I kind of predict this game. I think they're going to use him, I would say 80% of the snaps on offense. I think he'll be out there, and I think on defense, maybe half of the snaps. And then it depends how the game goes. If it's late in the game, kind of like what Deion Sanders said, if it's late in the game and you need to score a touchdown, you need your best player out there. If it's late in the game and you prevent a touchdown, you need your best player out there. I do expect that late in the game he might be playing a lot, but let's see what happens first, though. That's a lot of this is just kind of like let's wait and see. I am a little concerned about the O-line, as I did point out in my Jaguars preview videos, especially the interior. I do think that the Carolina Panthers have a pretty solid defensive line. Derek Brown, Bayou Brown III, Ashawn Robinson. I do think that they're solid up front, especially Derek Brown. I'm curious to see how our offensive line is going to handle that. And that's kind of like a key to the game, key to victory for the Jaguars is the interior O-line for me. If we can get the run game going, run between the tackles, run up the middle, get third down and fourth down, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, like we've never been able to do for the past 5 years. And then on the other side, if we could stop the run on the Panthers side, I think Chuba Hubbard is a very good running back. As far as the Carolina offensive line, I'm not too well versed in their offensive line, gonna be honest. They do have Robert Hunt. That's pretty good. That was a pretty good signing. And we'll see if their left tackle and left guard that are listed as questionable will play. But I think their offensive line is pretty decent. The Jaguars are definitely going to have to stop the run if they want to win this game. On the Panthers' outlook, what's Bryce Young and Dave Canellis going to develop into? What are they going to look like? I already touched on the wide receiver core. Adam Thielen gone. Coker's not going to play this game. And I think it's really going to come down to their young two outside receivers in Xavier Legette and Ted McMillan. I think McMillan's probably going to be good. He's going to be probably what everyone was hyping him up to be coming out. And I know Xavier Legette had a really quiet season last year. Part of it was just because the Panthers just weren't very good overall, and the quarterback play wasn't very good. So I'm curious to see if maybe he actually kind of breaks out this year. And the thing about Jags' secondary is this is kind of a secondary where number 2 wide receivers could feast. Because if Tyson Campbell's not out there, or if he's not 100%, Tyson Campbell's going to be probably shadowing number 1 receivers. I don't know about Jerry Jones. I don't know how much Travis Hunter's going to play on the other side of the ball, or if Buster Brown's going to be playing out there. But NFL offenses can definitely attack number 2 corners on this team. So I could see Xavier Legette kind of having a breakout game, maybe. We'll see, though. Like a defense, I don't really know much about their defense. I think they're up front. Their defensive line is okay, but I think their secondary is just okay as well. Nothing like to write home about. The Panthers were 5-12 team last year. obviously they're kind of still in a development, rebuilding mode. J.C. Horn, Trayvon Moehrig, they're pretty solid pieces, but nothing that really scares you. So the Jaguars offense should be able to attack this game. And for keys for victory for the Panthers outlook, I think has to be almost in the same way as the Jags, stopping the run and running the ball. If they can stop the run and get Trevor into third and long situations, second and long, third and long situations, put the pressure on Liam Cohen to deliver, that could lead to some miscues or maybe just some misfirings, maybe some turnovers. And then if they can run the ball because we all know the Jags' defensive weakness is the interior D-line and the secondary. So if they can establish the run and then set a play action pass and attack our cornerback 2 or our safeties, then they could have a field day against us. But that also hinges on Bryce Young's development. So we'll see how that goes there. A little bit of a matchup X factors. I kind of already touched on a little bit, but my X factor for the Jags this game is just the interior offensive line. Can the Jaguars interior protect Trevor from Derek Brown in the middle, and can they provide a push up front for the running backs? And I really like our running backs this year. I think all 4 of them are really solid, and I think ETN's going to start, and I think we're going to see a lot of Tank Bigsby in this game as well, especially if the Jags are leading and we're trying to run out the clock. Tank Bigsby is a great runner up the middle that can just chunk out yardage and get the clock down. Also, Liam Cohen is a big X factor. It's really cool to see kind of the progression of Liam Cohen and the Jags in this offseason. Week 1 in the preseason was pretty rough, and he said that as well. But he actually coached up and gave them a lot of points to improve in week 2, and the Jags did, and came out in week 2 and really improved on a lot of things. Defense was a lot more aggressive, was a lot more physical. Offense wasn't fazed by any kind of penalties or turnovers, just came back and played really well. And then the third week as well showed a lot of toughness against the Dolphins. So I think Liam Cohen, how he marries the play calling aspect with managing a game, and if he can attack the Panthers' weak secondary, if he can do that and can run the ball, I think the Jags are really set up for success here. And then another matchup X factor, I already said it before, but the Jags secondary versus the Panthers wide receivers. I think the Panthers wide receivers, that's probably the strength of their team as well. And specifically, if Xavier Legette can kind of live up to the draft hype that he was out of a top of the second round last year. So I think he's a big X factor, because I think a lot of attention is going to be on McMillan and stopping the run. But if Xavier Legette can come out of the slot or can come out of the second outside position and tear up the Jags secondary, I think that could be a long day for the defense. But my final prediction for this game, I do have the Jaguars winning, and I think they could win decisively. My prediction is going to be Jaguars 27, Panthers 17. I just think that the Jaguars are overall just more talented of a football team at this stage. I think the Panthers can be a good team, and they definitely can win this game. Week 1 is definitely weird sometimes, but I think the Jaguars just are more talented. They're at home. It's in the heat. I'm sure they'll wear their all-white uniforms, which I hate, by the way. Please just wear the throwbacks always. And I think the importance of a hot start for the Jaguars, given the schedule. If the Jaguars lose this game, they got to go to Cincinnati next week. Then they got to come home and play Houston. Then they got to go to San Francisco, and then they got to play a Monday Night Football game at the Chiefs. If you lose this game, it's a very real possibility you start off 0-2, possibly 0-4, possibly 0-5, and the season's done before it's even started, just like last year. So it's really, really important for the Jaguars to win this game. I think they will. I am not disrespecting the Panthers. I am fully aware that they could definitely win this game as well. I think they have a lot of talent. And, I'm not sold on the Jags yet. Like I said, I only had them going 8-9, which is good for the Jags, but I know a lot of people are expecting possibly playoffs, winning the division, or a wild card. I'm not expecting that this year. want to see it first before we get into playoff territory. Let's see. Let's take it a game at a time, a day at a time, and see if they can actually just beat a average to below average NFL football team. If they can beat an average to below average football team decisively at home week 1, then maybe I'll be a little more positive. If they lose this game, then I could see a lot of concerns. Season's not over, but there's a lot of concerns. And I think the whole Bryce Young versus Trevor Lawrence, both number 1 overall picks, both have kind of disappointed a lot in their careers so far. Trevor Lawrence has to beat Bryce Young. I know they're not like playing each other, but there's just going to be so much pressure on Trevor. Not that there already is already, but there's just going to be so much pressure on him to perform and to kind of be what he is touted. And if he can't beat the Panthers in week 1 at home and Bryce Young outplays you, then that contract's going to look pretty silly. But we'll see. It's only week 1. Definitely not going to try to overreact to this one. But yes, Jaguars 27, Panthers 17. Jaguars win. All right, now let's go to a quick rundown for the rest of the week 1 games. I haven't even looked at the schedule, honestly. All I know is Thursday night and Friday night football, and then Bills Ravens, I think. So let's check here. Thursday night, Dallas at Philadelphia. That's the kickoff game. The line is Philly minus 8.5. I mean, that might be fair. Dallas, after they traded Parsons, who knows? I mean, they still have a pretty good offense. I'm excited to see what George Pickens looks like in Dallas with that offense. But yeah, I'm definitely going Philly. I would take the spread as well. Next is Kansas City at Los Angeles. Oh, the Friday night, the Brazil game on YouTube TV. Okay. Kansas City minus 3.5. Yeah, I'll go Kansas City, I think. I don't care where they're playing. It's Kansas City week 1. Andy Reid is going to have a lot of time to prepare. I think the Chargers are definitely going to be a pretty good team, possibly a playoff team. I can't remember. Did I? I don't think I had them in the playoffs in my preview, but I don't think they win this game. I would take the Chiefs and the points. So I got 2 favorites winning. First 2. Then we get to the Sunday games. All right, let's look at a few of these. All right, Tampa at Falcons. I'll go Tampa. I don't know what Atlanta's going to be. I mean, their offense is pretty good, obviously, but let's see if Penix can step up. But Tampa is actually really good. Pretty loaded team, honestly. I think they win that. They're minus 2.5. I'd cover the spread there. Cleveland at Cincinnati. We all know Cincinnati always starts off cold, right? I don't think so this year. I think Cincinnati is going to kind of buck that trend and actually probably start off pretty hot. They're minus 5.5. I think they blow out Cleveland. I think they can make a huge statement that this is not a normal year, that they're ready. Cleveland, obviously, they were the second worst team in the NFL last year. Joe Flacco's starting. Yeah, not a lot there. I don't expect from them. So far, I got a lot of the favorites covering the spread so far. Miami at Indianapolis. Okay. Yeah, so Indy is favored by 1.5. I go Miami. I think, not that I believe in Miami, but I am really down on the Colts this year. Not that I know Colts are like division rivals with the Jags, but I never really think of them as division rivals. I always in my head when I think of division rival, Titans and the Texans come into my mind immediately. Azeez Al-Shaair, cheap shouting Trevor Lawrence comes to mind. Derrick Henry destroying the entire 2018 Jags defense comes to mind. Colts, not really anything really comes to mind when I think of them. I more think of the Jags beating them than I think of them beating us. I don't believe what they're doing. I think Chris Ballard is the most overrated general manager probably of all time. He just gets so much love. I might make a video on that because he just gets so much love and everyone thinks he's the best GM ever. And what have the Colts done? Nothing. And Miami, I don't think they're going to be that good this year either, but I think Miami always starts off pretty fast every year. And I mean, they still got Tyreek Hill, still got Jalen Waddle, and Tua's still a pretty decent quarterback. So I'm going to go Miami there. Las Vegas at New England. New England favored by 2.5. I think New England wins here. Just because it's at New England, I think Vrabel's going to give this team a huge bump. I don't have them making the playoffs this year, but I think New England's definitely going to be a pain in everyone's side and probably going to be maybe second in that AFC East. We'll see about that. And then the Raiders, the Raiders do seem like a very safe team, like probably one of those high floor, low ceiling, like 7-10, 8-9 teams this year, just because of Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty. Defense probably not very good, but their offense could be pretty solid, and just good defense, or good coaching on the defense at least. We can say that. But I'm going to go New England. I think they'll win this game pretty handily. I'll take them with the points as well. A lot of favorites winning. Again, Arizona at New Orleans. Arizona's favored by 6.5. I think that Arizona will win, but I'm actually going to say New Orleans might cover this spread here, just because I think it's in New Orleans. Now, the New Orleans, they're probably going to be the worst team in the league this year by far. But week 1 is weird. Things happen, upsets happen. I still think Arizona will win. I'm going to take them winning, but I'm going to say that they do cover the spread. Maybe it's a closer game than a lot of people think. Maybe they win by 3 or 4. Pittsburgh at New York Jets. Oh, that's an interesting game. Pittsburgh at New York Jets. Oh, this is the Rodgers game, is it? Yes. Dang, Rodgers coming back to week 1. That's going to be pretty funny. I'll have to definitely have this game in the background or something if I can. But Pittsburgh minus 2.5. I'm going to take Pittsburgh here. It's the Steelers. They always deliver. And New York, I don't know what to make of New York. I think Aaron Glenn's going to be a great coach, but just the team, I don't know. Something on New York Jets, they just never deliver, right? They just never be a good team, just be normal. They can't. Next, we're going to go New York at Washington, 1 p.m. That's a game that Washington will, I don't know. New York intrigues me because their defensive line is just so stacked. But there's nothing else on that team that I think about at all. I think, I'll go Washington with the points, minus 6.5. Yeah. I do think Washington could regress a little bit this year. I think they got a little bit of a target on their back, but I still think they beat New York here. Minus 6.5. You know what? I'll give New York covering the spread. I think 6.5 is a lot. I think they'll win by maybe 3 to 4 points. Carolina at Jacksonville. We already talked about that. Tennessee at Denver. Denver's minus 8.5. Oof. Dang, Cam Warren has to go against one of the best defenses in the NFL week 1. Yeah, I'll go Denver here. I think Denver plus the points. I think Denver's really good, and I think rookie quarterback against that defense at Denver week 1, they're going to take the points. They're going to win that game. San Francisco at Seattle. This is also a 4 o'clock game. San Francisco minus 2.5. You know what? I'm going to do the upset here. I'm going to say Seattle wins this. I think in Seattle week 1, San Francisco's obviously dealt with a lot of people leaving, or a lot of players leaving. And I think I kind of like Seattle. I don't think they're going to be super good this year, but they did make the playoffs last year, and who knows about Sam Darnold. I'll take Seattle here. They'll win the game outright. Next, 4:25, Detroit at Green Bay. This will be a great game. Green Bay is actually favored minus 2.5. That must be the Parsons bump, I guess. Oof, at Green Bay. You know what? I'm going Detroit. I think a lot of people are a little lower on Detroit because they lost both their coordinators. Everyone's thinking, is Jared Goff going to regress? They're never going to be as good like last year. And yes, of course, they're not going to be as good as last year. They went 15-2 last year. That is insane. And they just were killing teams last year. It was almost every week they were just blowing teams out by 30. It was crazy. That's not going to happen this year. But I do think they actually pull off an upset and beat Green Bay. I think their team is still stacked. They still have a great offensive line, great weapons, and a defense that is going to be better since they're not all injured. Green Bay is going to be pretty stacked too, but I actually think that their offense, we'll see about their offense. I think Jordan Love's good. I think that, who's their coach? Totally blanking out right now. I totally forgot what their coach's name is, but he's a really good coach though. I don't know why. I keep thinking of Kevin O'Connell, but I know he's the Vikings coach. Anyways, I think Detroit will win this game, and Green Bay will be good this year, probably make the playoffs, but they will lose this game. Houston at Los Angeles. This is the last of the 4:30 games. LA is favored by 3.5. I'm gonna go. This kind of all rides, honestly, on Stafford if he's actually healthy. He's fought through a lot of injuries and still played really well. LA is really good. Houston's really good too. But who knows? New offensive coordinator might take some time for them to kind of like gel. I still have Houston winning the division this year. I think they'll probably go 10-7 again, 11-6. You know, ride an easy AFC South schedule as always. But I'm gonna go. LA pulls out the victory here at home. Ooh, 8:20. Okay, yeah, primetime games. Baltimore at Buffalo. Buffalo favored 1.5. I'm going Buffalo. You can't. I think Baltimore. I think I have them as my Super Bowl pick this year. I think they're going to be great this year. But at Buffalo, first game of the year, Bills Mafias, they're going to be jumping off the stadium onto tables and all that. I'm going Buffalo. They're going to cover the spread, win. It's only a 1.5 point spread, so it's just literally a pick 'em. So yeah, Buffalo will win that game. And then Monday Night Football, Minnesota at Chicago. Minnesota's favored by 1.5. I'm going Minnesota. I think they're a good team. We'll see what J.J. McCarthy is. We'll see, but just the team in general. Kevin O'Connell is just such a good coach. And Brian Flores also on the defensive side of the ball too. Chicago, obviously everyone's excited to see what Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and what they're going to do. I think it's going to be not as good as people think. I think it's going to take some time to kind of bring that Lions energy into Chicago, I mean, if Dan Campbell's squad can change the culture of one losing organization, I'm sure his protege can do the same in Chicago eventually. But I could see them doing kind of like what Detroit did, where they were like one of the worst teams in the NFL the first year, but then like the second year they built up and like almost played the playoffs, and then the third year and fourth year they were like one of the best teams in the league. I think that'll be kind of like with Chicago. I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the league. I think they're really talented, obviously, but I'm going to go that they're better than last year, but they're not like fighting for the wild card like a lot of people are thinking this year. So I'll go Minnesota this game. That is all of the week 1 games. Again, Jags win 27-17, go 1-0. If they don't, then the season's over. No, I'm just kidding. But that would suck if they lost. But it's not the end of the world. Biggest upset of the week, I think I said maybe Detroit. I feel like people are really low on Detroit, but I mean, I don't know. I'll go upset. I'll go with maybe the Miami Colts. I don't know. That's not that big of an upset. I don't really have a huge upset this week. Probably the Detroit game, or maybe Seattle over 49ers. Yeah, I'll say Seattle over 49ers as the biggest upset. There will probably be another one. I could see maybe the Giants surprising people and upset the Commanders. That'd be pretty cool. But we'll see. But drop your week 1 prediction in the comments below. Who do you think comes out on top, whether it's Jags game or any other week 1 prediction? I do have main weekly videos coming out every week. Not this week, just because the schedule's crazy and I'm just preparing a lot of stuff for the upcoming season. I'm going to try to come out with the recap, the post-game show, maybe Sunday night, Monday morning. I would really like to get it out Sunday night, because I know I've been there when after the game ends and you just want to hear people talking about the game. You want to hear some kind of reaction, and obviously no one gets anything out until like Monday afternoon. So my goal is to get something out Sunday night, Monday morning, so you guys can listen to it, whether you're on the way to work in the morning or in the gym or something, or just want something to watch before bed. Get my recap of the game. I will be doing that. I'm going to be filming that right after the game, and then hopefully get it out that night, but we'll see. If not, then Monday morning, definitely. And then, weekly videos coming out Wednesday. That's going to be on anything NFL related, Japan related, making drinks related, anything like that. I'm going to try to come out with week preview videos about Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, and then Friday I always have my Drinking Japanese podcast as well, if you're a Japanese learner like me and you want some listening practice. But hey, that's all we got for this week. I'm super stoked, super excited. Week 1 is coming. It's in just a few days. Actually, tomorrow is the first game, so I'm excited to catch that. But as always, thanks for checking out Jags Japan, and thanks for watching. See you later.